Hi, I'm Emerson Campbell.
I'm Nicholas Reed.
And I'm Taylor Reed, back at the Sooner Saloon. Emerson Campbell, you weren't here last time. Had a couple things going on. I know you have a lot to say. I want to hear your thoughts on this game. Let's hear it.
What did I say was my last takeaway
Your
on the
last
preview podcast? I told you that I wanted to see Lincoln Riley and the Oklahoma Sooners not take their foot off the gas, and put the game away. And what did they do in the second half? They didn't run the ball. They made sloppy mistakes on both sides of the ball, and they let Tulane get back into the game. They scored 3 points and a half.
Yeah, they put up
That's
3
probably the least amount of points Lincoln Riley's ever scored in a half. And it was just terrible.
Okay. That's one of the things you said when I asked you the three things. The other thing was offensive line domination.
That was a rhetorical question, Reed.
What?
Oh, what?
One of the things you said last week was you wanted to see the offensive line dominate.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just being rhetorical when I said what was the thing.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I was saying.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
But, like I said, the offensive line. What was your opinion on the offensive line, how they played?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Sorry about that. Offensive
You're
line.
good. We're people. We're not ESPN.
Yeah, true. This is only our second episode, folks.
This is our third. This is Emerson's second. This is our
Third. This is my second. Correct. Thank you. So
right.
I'm already, a step behind. Okay. Anyway, offensive line, they didn't have Andrew Rame for undisclosed reasons, probably contact tracing. And so, but they still, you had Marquise Hayes. You have the talent on the offensive line, and they struggled running the ball when Eric Gray was in. Kennedy Brooks looked good when he was running the ball, but still, the offensive line didn't do what I expected them to do, especially with Tulane losing 2 defensive linemen to the draft. They should have played better,
Nick, you chime in when you want to.
Our biggest carry all day was 32 yards, and that was Kennedy Brooks.
What?
Our longest carry of the day versus Tulane was 32 yards. That was Kennedy Brooks.
I can barely hear Nick.
Our biggest rush of the day against Tulane was 32 yards, and that was Kennedy Brooks.
Yeah.
What about another thing I'm going to ask you? What about the 2 turnovers? You said you wanted to see 2 turnovers at least by the Oklahoma defense. They had 3, I believe. Yeah, they had 3. Oklahoma had 3 turnovers. You wanted to see at least 2. Okay. What's your opinion on that?
Well, the turnovers were good, and I applaud the defense for getting them, and I think all 3 of them were in Tulane's territory. I think 2 of them were pretty close to putting the offense in the red zone. And what does the offense do? They take 3 turnovers, and they score 3 points off of them, cumulatively. That's not acceptable, and that's not the Oklahoma offense that we've come to expect from Lincoln Riley. And, that's one of the benefits of having an explosive offense is when your defense gets turnovers, they're able to capitalize on them and make points out of them. And that's something that Oklahoma didn't do, and that's something that they're going to have to get better at if they want to become a championship team.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we had 6 total points on those turnovers, and then one was right before the half, and it was like Lincoln Riley didn't know what he was doing. There was like 12 seconds left in the half, and we could call a timeout right there, but we let the clock run down.
Back to like 5 seconds, I think it was.
Yeah, maybe 3 to 5 seconds on the clock. We kicked the field goal, he makes it, but you could have got closer to hit that field goal. But
last question I got for you, Emerson. You want to see a complete coaching performance by Lincoln Riley. What, in your opinion, what'd you see?
I saw them not have any faith in the running game for an unknown reason, because whenever Kennedy Brooks was on the field, he was eating up 8 yards at a time, 9 yards at a time. And like you said, he had a big run for 30-plus yards. And I get it, we're worried about depth. but you're also getting a guy back into the groove after taking a year off of football. And it looked like he was in that groove. So if you want Spencer Rattler to do well and work inside the offense, you need to set up the pass by running the ball effectively. And it seemed like Lincoln in the second half, I don't know if it was a lack of execution on the players' part, but it just seemed like they were afraid to run the ball. And it made it very difficult for Spencer in the passing game because they had to go against a light box all day.
Okay. And that's key, running the ball on first down. And it seemed like from the get-go, we were throwing it on first down, and it just didn't look right. The OU standard, I think, is truly run the ball first. Set the run up so you can pass the ball. But, Kennedy Brooks averaged 6.2 yards a carry, and Eric Gray was about 3.3 yards a carry. And
against Tulane.
That's just
against
not
Tulane.
Good enough.
Against Tulane.
Who, props to them. They played a great game. And I don't want to take anything away from them. They were a good team last year, and I think they're probably going to be even better this year because that Pratt dude, he's got nuts that hang. I tell you what,
Definitely. He's a fighter. He's definitely a fighter.
Yeah. Freaking warrior, dude.
Nick, before we move over to the Big 12 games and national games a little bit, some quick thoughts about the offense.
Just all together, the offense puts up 3 points in the second half. But my big thing
is that all we had in the second half? 3 points?
3 points. It was 37-14 going
we had 3
into
points
halftime.
In the second half.
37-14 going into halftime. And when
probably Lincoln Riley's worst half ever, like I said.
Well, here's the thing, fellas. One of my keys to this game was special teams. And Gabe Burchick has a good game overall, but he doesn't hit the one that counts. And then OU doesn't come up with the onside kick; they give it up. And then on that fourth,
that's a good point, Nick. Thank you.
I think it's 4th and 14. The quarterback Pratt for Tulane runs it yards short. Guess what? Perion Winfrey jumps on him, which could have been a penalty right there. He jumps on him when he's down already. He hits him like it could have been a flag right there, but I think Tulane would have went down, scored, and it'd be a complete
That was just good pursuit by Perion. I think that was the right call to not call that unnecessary roughness on that. He was just trying to chase Michael Pratt down from the back, and he ended up landing on him a little bit. I don't think it was malicious.
He landed on him, but he also stayed on him for a second. And he kind of had
He's a large man that's probably very exhausted.
But he's got to be aware of that. If the quarterback's going down.
Ladies.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of times that OU shoots themselves in the foot. Spencer Rattler could have had 4 interceptions in this game.
We got away with the pass interference that was blatantly on Jaden Hazelwood that they didn't call for some reason.
That was 3.
That was bad. That was a bad
And then
no call.
he misses one. I think he's trying to target Jeremiah Hall, and then their safety couldn't come down with it.
So defense. Emerson, defense. What do you got?
I heard the defensive line getting a lot of flack after the game because they didn't get as many sacks as you would think. Talking about how good this defensive line is expected to be this whole offseason. But honestly, Tulane got rid of the ball very quickly. A lot. Michael Pratt was taking a 3-step drop and getting it out of there because the defensive line was in his face. You had Reggie Grimes with a sack that forced a fumble, huge play. You got a lot of great play out of Jalen Redmond. Isaiah Thomas played well. Nick Benito played well. Perion, at time, I think he still needs to develop a little bit, but you can see that he's coming along. So I think the defensive line played rather well as far as all things are considered. The linebackers, for the most part, it seems like they were the ones that were struggling with the run fits and coverage. You saw running backs going out of the backfield from the beginning of the game. That's how Tulane scored on the opening drive, was just an unguarded running back coming out of the backfield on a fly route, on a wheel route.
We didn't get a stop.
And it's like the linebacker is responsible.
We didn't get a stop in this game until there was about 40 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, Yeah, they marched all down the field, and it was because a lot of it was because of blown coverages on the linebackers. I think from what
I
it looked like,
completely agree.
and they weren't fitting their runs correctly. So I think the linebacking core probably had the worst day out of any unit on the defense. The secondary, yeah, you had one big play down the field, one big pass. But other than that, I mean, you cycled a lot of young guys in, and you got a lot of meaningful snaps and a lot of good play out of pretty much everyone in the secondary.
I was really
Billy
feeling...
Bowman almost had an interception.
Right. I was really feeling for Billy
Keyshawn
Bowman.
Lawrence had a huge hit on Michael Pratt on a great play. So I think the defense overall, the linebackers need to get it together and figure out where the running back is.
And this is our thoughts a couple days after the game. So our last episode was pretty much our emotions after the game, right after it got over. This is a couple days later. And, I'm going to tie these next two things into the same thing because we kind of covered the special teams. But Nick and Emerson, overall, I would say in the next couple weeks to now, where do you see this team going from the Tulane game next few weeks? What do you think they have to improve, and how do you think they're going to do? Nick, I'll start with you.
I think they need to get back to running the ball first. They can't show up how they did today or against Tulane Saturday and play a K-State team in Manhattan because they're going to get the brakes beat off of them.
They're going to beat the shit out of Oklahoma if they play like that.
But I want to see more run fits on defense, and I want to see more plays in the football because I didn't really see it a lot of that on Saturday. But just needs to be polished up. I still think this could be a really good team going forward. They got the players to do it.
You're 100% right.
They just got to make it happen.
Yeah.
What do you think, Emerson?
What do you got?
Yeah, this team still has a lot of potential. You usually see the biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2 in any season. And, I mean, honestly, the defense will get it together. They're working in a lot of young guys, and they're trying to figure out. They're still trying to get their two deep figured out because they have a lot of new people on offense and defense. But I think the biggest thing that needs to happen is Spencer Rattler needs to take that step. He tried to force a lot of balls yesterday, a lot of throws, and it didn't seem like he had the command of the offense like he did at the end of the season last year. It looked like Spencer Rattler in early 2019 against K-State and or in early 2020 against K-State and Iowa State. He was lackadaisical with the football, and it led to turnovers, and he didn't take what the defense gave him, and that led to the offense not being as lethal and potent as it should be under Lincoln Riley. And if he gets benched again this year, it's not Tanner Mordecai coming in for a couple series. It's Caleb Williams. So he needs to figure it out and get back to the post-Texas Spencer Rattler form of last year for this team to reach their championship potential.
And my biggest takeaway from that, you compared Iowa State and K-State last season, related to this year. I mean, in those games, we didn't have a very good run game. And
yep,
absolutely.
That's key going forward.
Yeah.
That is greatly looked at.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, with that being said, okay, fellas, I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions based off the scores of the Big 12, okay? And the only reason why I care about your opinions is, what you think it has to do with Oklahoma. Does that make sense? So, Kansas, South Dakota State, 17-14. Gabe Joyner!
Woo! Rock Chalk.
What's your guys' opinions on the Kansas game?
Hey, guess what? Hey, Kansas is 1-0. Clemson's 0-1. When's the last time that happened?
It's true.
A little stat by. Oh, he's holding up his KU sign there. Okay.
I'm happy for KU. This is probably the one game they're going to win this year, and they did what they needed to do, and they got the W. And
Okay.
I mean, I'm being honest. Maybe they can steal one from Texas Tech, or maybe Baylor's
hey.
particularly bad. I don't know.
According to
But-
Gabe, this is going to be just like the 2007 season.
Orange Bowl champs
And
right
he's
here.
smelling oranges.
I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, we are kind
But
of...
things are going in the right direction, so good for KU.
Guys,
They,
Virginia
I'm
Tech
happy
and
for them.
Kansas both won their games. They're both 1-0. Are we looking at a collision course for the Orange Bowl this year?
It could be an instant classic flashback.
I think so. Anyway, moving to the next game. Stanford, Kansas State, fellas. Stanford, they played strong. But K-State beat them 24-17 on a neutral site. Damn.
In Jerry's world.
24-17.
I
So
thought it was 24-7,
or 24-7. Sorry, I'm
24-7.
I'm stupid. I'm looking at the score right in front of me.
and it was 24-0 in the fourth
Yeah,
until
it was.
K-State gave up a touchdown.
It was.
Hey, Deuce Vaughn, over 100 yards.
Yeah. They better come.
K-State's going to be a sleeper in the Big 12, and Oklahoma needs to take them seriously. So
Yeah, they do. Because if they come to play against K-State like they did Tulane, they're going to get the shit beat out of them. So, couple other scores. Maryland knocked off West Virginia, 30-24. Northern Iowa. So when we were talking last, I think it was the first episode. I don't know who agreed with me. I'm not sure. I think I said Iowa State would win by 3 touchdowns, 17 points. I don't know. It was 16-10.
Iowa State's one of those teams
Early
that
season struggles.
they're a mid-season.
I told
to
you,
late
Iowa
season
State
form.
usually.
Yeah. They got Iowa next week. College game day is going to be there, I think. Isn't that what it's?
That's going to be a hell of a game.
It is. Texas 38.
But real quick on Iowa State, I mean, going forward, they have so many weapons. Like
They do.
They're
They're
going to
loaded.
be a really good
They're
team.
loaded.
No matter what they do in this next couple weeks, they're going to be a really good team to play.
They're loaded. Texas number 21. Texas number 23. Louisiana 38-18.
You guys didn't have enough faith in Texas.
I didn't.
I think they're going to be up there in the Big 12.
I
I think they're
didn't.
going to be a top 4 team, top 3 team.
That's another team. If we show up, like
hate
we did
to say it,
against Tulane,
Emerson.
we're gonna get our.
We all hate Texas, but I think Steve Sarkisian is going to be a good coach for Texas. And Bijan Robinson's a dude. Look out for Bijan Robinson.
So, side note, doesn't have anything to do with much, but see, I can actually respect Texas, not Oklahoma State.
That's
I
fair to say.
hate Texas. I hate Texas, but they can actually show up and they can play Oklahoma. They come to play and they beat Oklahoma every now and then. Oklahoma State talks so much shit all the time and they just get their asses beat.
All of their
so.
fans.
I know. Sorry,
all
Oklahoma
the
State
same.
fans. I could care less if you're watching. You get mad. Texas Tech beat Houston 38-21 at Houston. It looks like it was at Houston. I don't know. I have no idea. Oklahoma State 23-16 over Missouri State. Shit.
That's shaky.
Yeah.
But
Baylor 29 to
It's week
20.
one, right?
Yeah, week one. We only beat Tulane by
Week
5. So,
exactly.
So Baylor 29, Texas State 20, TCU 45.
Hey, watch out for TCU this season.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to run by a couple of national games here. Hold on, fellas. I'm human. I'm not an ESPN analysis guy. I'm going to pull them up here. Analyst, sorry. Whatever. I don't care, Emerson. It's not loading here.
The biggest thing is Clemson, Georgia.
Dude.
Clemson lost to Georgia.
Did
10-3.
Alabama's going to win the national championship.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you can take out of week 1 right there.
That's week 1. Welcome to college football, folks. You don't have to watch any other games.
Yeah, welcome back. Alabama just throttles Miami. And I mean,
Yeah.
what do you expect? What was it, 44
It was like 45 to
14?
13.
Yeah,
fair enough.
not even a
It was
game.
insane.
Here's the deal. We had a couple of good games. I'm not pulling it up. Whatever. Notre Dame won last night by 3 points against Florida State. Alabama beat
Penn State beat Wisconsin.
Yep, they did. Alabama beat the shit out of Miami. You know, whatever. So, I'm going to wrap it up, fellas. Nick, do you have anything?
Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner all day, no matter what. I don't care. Emerson, what do you got?
A dub's a dub.
A dub's a dub to a certain extent. It is. Okay.
It's better than a no.
There you go. It's better than a loss. This is our 3rd episode. Emerson, Nick, I'm Taylor. Next episode is going to be Friday. We'll see you guys later. We'll talk about the next OU game and what we got coming up. Thanks.